Hi, I'm Ro from Cybersleuth, and I'm here to help you walk you through which one's better, Optery or DeleteMe, and what you can do to protect yourself with your information online. You can go at this yourself, but I found that with Optery or DeleteMe, things go much smoother, you get better results, and you save more time to remove your information from the internet. So, which one's better, and how well do they par with each of the categories that I just listed? Well, before you go, if you already know your answer, check out the description below for some savings. These discount codes do help out the channel at no cost to you, and we always appreciate it. With Optery, you can start the sign-up process for free, which is pretty rare for a data broker removal service. All you have to put in is your name, your home and email address, and your phone number, and Optery will start working for you. It'll start to find your information that data brokers have scraped off online and who has them, and it'll give you an exposure report. This exposure report gives you information on where you've been exposed. With DeleteMe, you do need to pay for the subscription service up front. Afterwards, you put in your personal information, and you also sign a limited power of attorney, which is pretty common with any data broker removal service, but DeleteMe does make it mandatory, whereas Optery is an option. In either case, getting through the sign-up process is pretty simple, as with certain easy prompts and interfaces, it just takes a few minutes. All right, now to the important part, which is which service found the most exposures or your information on the most sites. So let's get into it. Optery found 117 sites during the initial scan. In the exposure report, they included a screenshot of where my information was found, which is also a key difference that I do enjoy about Optery. Most data broker removal services, like DeleteMe, don't really show you where your information was, just that your information was exposed. So I do really enjoy Optery for this. DeleteMe does make it harder to understand the process. It notes that 27 sites had about 251 pieces of my information. Because it doesn't provide the screenshots like Optery, it's hard to discern where exactly my information was exposed or what piece of information was exposed. With the personal identifiable information, or PII, I feel like DeleteMe does mislead a little bit, and more on that soon, but it makes it really hard to understand how much coverage it actually provides or how many sites it can take down your information from. Like I said before, you guys might be looking for a straight Optery versus DeleteMe comparison, but it gets a little bit hard. So rather than focusing on just the amount of sites and listings that each one can take down, let's focus on the process and really which one's a little bit more fluid with what might fit for you. So for example, Optery does a free search, which we spoke about in the very beginning, but the free search, after it's done, shows you where your information is exposed. It doesn't necessarily take it down for you. It leaves that up to you. If you want to go through the takedown process yourself, it is very time consuming. And after that, you have to recheck and recheck again and again and again and again. And that might make it really hard and time consuming, and you might never get up from your desk. So Optery then goes into the paid part, which once you pay for the subscription service, it will do the takedown process on your behalf. How does this compare to DeleteMe? Well, DeleteMe does have a free scan service like Optery, but I will be the first to say it is quite hard to find and the results are sparse. And so again, if you want a free scan, just to kind of get a quick snapshot of what your privacy exposure risk is, I would say just stick with the Optery and you'll get a nice snapshot. With DeleteMe, they claim with your paid subscription that they cover about 700 sites, which again, I did allude to the fact that those were skewed numbers. So let's get into the weeds. So with DeleteMe, it will only remove about 60 to 125 of your exposed findings. And so that 700 that they're advertising, well, the rest of those, you'll have to submit what they call custom takedown requests. And that's where I would prefer to do an automatic takedown, as that's what I'm paying for. And that's where I feel like DeleteMe falls a little short. I will say right off the bat, both do have good reports. At the basis, a good report will be easy to understand, and over time, it'll show you what you're paying for and making sure that it's keeping your private information private or your information off the internet, which is important. All right, so if time is of the essence, then Optery is a clear winner in that it gets a report out within an hour, and I can confirm, and within an hour, it had a report of the initial scan to me with all my exposed or my exposure risks of my information being on sites. Whereas DeleteMe says that their initial scan will take about 7 days. It took them, for me, about 2 days. So if you can wait, then either will do. But if you are in a hurry, I will say that Optery edges it out. After your initial scan, this is where services differ. Optery and DeleteMe offer quarterly and monthly reports. You can look at those reports or just let things run on autopilot. It's completely up to you. But before we get on to the next, please don't forget to check out the description below for some discount codes, get you some savings on whatever service you choose, and help support the channel at no cost. Thanks. So let's get on to the next part. So with something as complex as data broker removal service, questions will arise and roadblocks might happen. And so when we get there, what's really important? Customer service. Whenever I had an issue, I had to contact someone. Optery took about 3 hours to respond, as both services have chat and email, and DeleteMe took about 4 hours. DeleteMe does have the added benefit of a phone customer service, which I find really important when it comes to talking to someone and really understanding things. So if you like that benefit, then DeleteMe is definitely what you want to go with. With Optery, the dashboard is definitely a little nicer, as it weaves a more cohesive picture and it makes it easier to understand more about your exposures and your risks and your privacy. Whereas DeleteMe, you do have to traverse and trudge a little bit more to find out the specifics of what you're looking for. And that really takes up time, and I feel like my time's important. So Optery definitely edges it out, and that's where it wins with that category. All right, if you skip to the end, just to summarize everything, between Optery and DeleteMe, there is a clear winner. For me at least. Optery definitely edges out DeleteMe in a few categories that are very important to me, like cost, efficiency, and ease of use. Optery just makes that a little bit better and a little bit easier. I won't talk too negatively about DeleteMe, as DeleteMe was one of the first data broker removal services to hit the market, and so they have a wide array of experience and other offerings or tools that you can use to keep your private information more off the internet. So if you want to check either amount, don't forget to check out the description below for some discount codes, and we'll see you on the next one.